Hi, welcome to this session where we discuss one very important aspect of success in life, and that is the aspect of relationships. Today, the success that you have, the success that you aim for, the success that you will get is actually pegged on one relationship that you need to work on. So the question is, are you deliberate about working on that relationship today? Are you building that relationship? They say when they ask the most successful people how they got there, they talked about networks that add value. And networks is basically a complicated name of relationship because, of course, a network is built out of people that you have a relationship with. So the foundation of building a strong network is relationships. But ask yourself today, what kind of relationships do you have? Are they adding value to you? Are you deliberate about those relationships? And so I want us to consider about five areas of relationships that you have to be key to work on. You have to be keen to work on for you to attain the level of success that you actually want to attain. For you to attain satisfaction, it must not only be material success; it could also be spiritual success. It could also be emotional success, because at times we think success is only about the amount of money that is in the bank, but success goes beyond the money that you have in the account. It goes beyond the kind of house you live in. It goes beyond the kind of car you live in. You don't want to be miserable in a big house. You don't want to be miserable driving a G-Wagon. You want to have a whole life, a wholesome kind of a life. So the five aspects of relationship that you need to work on. Number one is your relationship with God. How is your relationship with God this morning? How is your relationship with God today? Are you deliberate about building that relationship? Are you deliberate about empowering or building your spiritual man? I'm reading an interesting book called How People Grow, and it talks about spiritual growth being at the heart of the success of any man. Why? Because once the inner man is actually successful, then it manifests in the inside. So, and I like to say, you will not be successful unless you are attached to He who gives success. You will not be successful unless you are borrowing from the one who made you. Why? Because He has your purpose. You will not be successful in life unless you are working around your purpose. And for you to know your purpose, then you need to be aligned to the one who gives you purpose. So you have to be deliberate about that relationship. We will actually have a whole series where we discuss growing spiritually, but growing spiritually talks about your relationship with your God, praying, reading the Word of God, your fasting life, your fellowship with believers. Those are the things that build your relationship around your spiritual life. So how is your relationship with God today? It's important that you work on that bit. The second that you must work on is the relationship with your immediate family. This is with your wife if you're married, or your husband, your children if you have children, your siblings, and your parents. Those are very important relationships. These are the people that are in your inner circle in life. And of course, if you're married, then the innermost circle is your spouse. Then comes to your parents, then your siblings, in that order. Now, the problem is that many of us have not differentiated where to draw the line in this circle of this relationship, most of family relationship. So we find we let things overlap on each other. We let the circles overlap on each other. Probably between the relationship between you and your spouse, and again between your parents and your siblings, or between your siblings and your spouse, and then it becomes a place where you are actually creating conflict. So be keen about creating those relationships. I like to say, my dad always tells me that, Peter, if you are not in agreement with your wife, if you're not in good terms with your wife, don't leave for work. You better just go and sleep if you will not settle that issue there and then. Why? Because when you go out there, you're already in a bad state of mind. And I know those of us who are married, the moment you have a quarrel with your spouse in the morning, any other person that you meet where things don't work out, or where you have an argument, or where they did not do something that they were supposed to do, that person actually looks like they have been sent, or actually looks like a representation of your spouse. And you don't want to run your day like that. You want to have peace. You want to be easy. You want to be able to achieve the success that was meant for that day. The relationship with your spouse is very, very important, and that of your parents as well, and the relationship around your children and your siblings, because these are the first area of these are actually the first sphere of influence in your life. These are the people who influenced you majorly to who you are today. And think about it. I went for a funeral planning the other day, and somebody said, if you want to know the most important things in your life, just look at somebody's obituary, because your obituary will not be any different. It will actually only mention the most important things in your life and the most important people in your life. So the next relationship that you need to work on is a relationship with your work, be it your business or be it your employer. What kind of relationship are you building in there? What kind of relationship do you have with your work? And I like to say, do you respect your work? Very many people today have lost opportunities because of not valuing the relationship they have with their jobs or with their businesses. I like to say the most challenging place many a times is actually the business place, because it is most of people who have just transitioned from being employed into business. It's always quite a challenge, because many people do not know where to strike the balance. Yeah, in terms of respecting time, respecting that place of work, respecting what should be happening around it, and that becomes very important. And I like to say that you will only be as successful in your business as you respect that business, because it's the value that you give to it is the value that business will give back to you. So respect your business, have a clear relationship. That talks about even how you conduct your business. Do you do proper bookkeeping? If you're employed, are you there on time? And this talks about how much you value what you do. So that relationship must always be kept on check at all time, because that relationship is what feeds you. That's where you get your money from. The fourth thing that we want to talk about is the relationship with your money. This is heavy. This is serious. Very many people do not know how to relate with money. So the moment you get your pay, in a week's time, you've blown it. So things around budgeting, things around living life at your level, that tells you that you have to be keen about how you relate with money. My dad always tells me that you will actually need to get to a point where you evaluate the relationship you have with your money. He puts it in mother tongue. If I'm just to try and translate, he says you have to be able to coexist with your money. And very many of us do not know how to coexist with money. Very many of us do not know how there can be money in the room and we are there. One of us has to be out. And I remember one time when we were in the world of alcohol and drinking, and it was such kind of a life. We knew that you actually, as long as you had money, then there was always room for an extra drink. But really, is that what you want to do with your finances? Is that what you want to do with your hard-earned cash? You want to be in a position where your money is actually adding value. Budget your money, respect your money. Your money is not to be wasted. I like to give this analogy that my dad gives me, that your money is actually is your bullets, is your life bullets. Now, if you are out in the jungle and you had 5 bullets, and then and you are supposed to survive out of that jungle, and you see a cat, you shoot it. You see an eagle, you shoot it. You see a squirrel, you shoot it. You see a bird, you shoot it. Then you have you see a what? You see an antelope, you shoot it. There will come a time when a lion will show up. There will come a time when an elephant will show up, and you've just wasted your bullets shooting birds and animals that could do you no harm. So your money is such. Have a relationship with your money that your money becomes your friend. That your money becomes your friend who will bail you out in situations. That's what money is meant for. It is meant to move you from situations to situation, from growth to growth, and therefore you have to have a proper relationship with it. The fifth thing that relationship that you need to work on is your relationship with your employer. Now, very many people, or with your boss, or with your mentors, these are the people who are at a higher level in society than you. Now, this must be a deliberate decision that you actually respect, value, give reference to these people. It has to be deliberate. One thing that I'm seeing in this generation is that we have young guys who just don't know how to respect people, don't know how to respect authority, don't know how to, to give respect where it's due. And that becomes a pain point in life. You do not want to go through life where you have not built proper relationship with your seniors. You've seen, for example, in the recent past, after the Kenyan election, and you see the president actually went to those people that they have had a relationship with. You've seen even people now who were of a different political inclination from what the president was doing, and they have had to go back to him and just realign to his school of thought and what he wants for this country. So even for you as an employee, as a potential as a candidate for a certain position, you have to respect the office and the state and the person that be in a higher position than you. You have to respect that authority because there's a grace that they have that you do not have. One of my bosses used to tell me that respect your bosses because they sit in meetings that you do not sit. And those meetings, at times, you are the topic of discussion. So be very intentional about creating relationships around, proper relationships around with your employer. Probably the last thing is the relationship with your colleagues at work and the people that you work with. These relationships are important because these are the people who can stand in for you. These are the people who can bail you out. These are the people who you have to be deliberate about having a relationship with. But again, you have to toe the line. You have to toe the line. I like to say we are living in a world where sexual immorality is so rampant. In Kenya, we saw some time back when HIV/AIDS was wiping out organizations. We know situations of probably banks or financial institutions where HIV/AIDS was heavy on them. It was an issue. It was a big issue. Now, you do not want to work in an environment where everybody sleeps with everybody. Respect yourself as an individual. If you, there's a reason why the HR manual in any organization says that a couple can actually not work in the same organization, probably in the same office, or probably they have to move to different departments, or probably not even work in the same location. Why is that? It's because when you are intimate with somebody, there is just something that binds the two of you, that basically some of the things that may be required for you to do at work, you may overlook them based on the fact that you are connected to this person. In essence, you know this person a little bit way too much. So you may not even be able, as a boss, you may not be able to push an agenda, or you may not be able to communicate the way that you are supposed to communicate. Even some things where you are supposed to take disciplinary action, you may not be able to, because then there is that bond that really talks about you being intimate with that person. So respect that. And as a boss today, it is important that you value the place that you have been given by your employer. Do not go sleeping around with your juniors. That makes you lose the moral authority. It makes you lose respect. It makes you lose that command that you are supposed to have at that place of work. And it's because basically you've walked into another space of intimacy with this person who then is still reporting to you. So I hope and believe that this becomes important, and that you will be able to take the lessons that we've shared in this and actually implement them and build relationship. If you are actually looking for a job, if you are in sales, maintain the place of the respect of your to yourself in terms of do not go sleeping with the people who are to give you business, or with your bosses, or with a potential employer, because what that does is that whatever you start off any process with is what must sustain that process. Remember, somebody said that where you started your relationship, where your marriage was founded, you have to keep on doing those things because they are the things that brought you together. So do not want to start your employment if you are seeking a job today at the wrong footing, where you then have to maintain that relationship by sleeping around with your bosses. So it's important that you maintain the proper relationships that will actually give you value, and grow you to the next level. I hope you find this important. Kindly subscribe, share, and make sure you watch out for our next videos. Thank you very much for watching through.